Summary of the Art of Being Alone. The Art of Being Alone, Loneliness Was My Cage, Solitude Is My Home is a self-help book by Renuka Gavrani that teaches readers how to transform loneliness into solitude and use alone time for personal growth. The book is divided into two major parts. First, understanding and overcoming loneliness. Second, using solitude as a tool for self-discovery, healing, and success. Open Library +1. Core Message. The central idea of the book is that being alone and being lonely are not the same thing. Loneliness is a painful emotional state where a person feels disconnected, unwanted, or abandoned. Solitude, on the other hand, is a healthy state where a person enjoys their own company and uses that time to grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The author argues that society often teaches us to fear being alone, making us believe that happiness depends on constant companionship and approval from others. As a result, many people spend their lives seeking validation rather than understanding themselves. Open Library +1. Why people fear being alone. According to the book, most people develop a fear of loneliness during childhood. Society praises popularity and friendships while portraying people who are alone as failures or outsiders. Movies, social media, and cultural expectations reinforce the belief that being alone is something negative. Because of this conditioning, people often stay in unhealthy relationships, seek constant attention, or become dependent on others for their happiness. Open Library +1. The author explains that this fear pushes people to create versions of themselves that others will accept. They hide their true personalities, suppress their opinions, and constantly try to fit in. Over time, they lose touch with their authentic selves. The difference between loneliness and solitude. A major lesson in the book is distinguishing loneliness from solitude. Loneliness feels like emptiness, creates external validation, makes people feel abandoned, often leads to anxiety and insecurity. Solitude feels peaceful and intentional, encourages self-reflection, builds confidence and independence, helps people understand themselves, creates opportunities for creativity and growth. The author emphasizes that the goal is not to isolate yourself from others but to become comfortable with yourself. When you can enjoy your own company, relationships become healthier because they are based on choice rather than need. Learning to enjoy your own company. The book encourages readers to become their own best friend. Many people spend their lives taking care of others while neglecting themselves. They know their friends and family well but know very little about their own desires, fears, and dreams. The author suggests spending time alone without distractions. Instead of constantly scrolling through social media, watching television, or seeking entertainment, people should sit with their thoughts. This process can initially feel uncomfortable because many unresolved emotions surface. However, facing those emotions is necessary for growth. By spending time alone, individuals begin to understand what truly makes them happy, what values they hold, what goals they genuinely want, what fears control their behavior. Self-love and self-acceptance. Another important theme is self-love. The author argues that many people look for love from others because they have not learned to love themselves. They seek reassurance, compliments, and approval to feel worthy. The book teaches that self-love means accepting imperfections, forgiving mistakes, treating yourself with kindness, respecting your own needs, not relying entirely on others for self-worth. According to the author, self-love is not arrogance or selfishness. Instead, it creates emotional stability and allows people to build stronger relationships. Letting go of external validation. Many readers may recognize how much of their happiness depends on what others think. The book repeatedly warns against making life decisions solely to impress people. The author explains that people think about you far less than you imagine. Trying to please everyone is impossible. Your worth is not determined by popularity. Approval from others is temporary. When people stop chasing validation, they gain freedom. They become more confident in expressing their opinions and pursuing their goals. Healing emotional wounds. The book also discusses emotional healing. Loneliness often develops from rejection, heartbreak, betrayal, childhood experiences, failed relationships. Instead of avoiding pain, the author recommends confronting it. Solitude creates space for processing emotions and understanding past experiences. Healing requires accepting what happened, learning lessons from pain, forgiving yourself, moving forward without resentment. The author views emotional wounds as opportunities for growth rather than permanent damage. Building emotional independence. One of the strongest messages in the book is emotional independence. Many people become dependent on others for happiness. They believe they cannot survive without a particular relationship or social group. The author argues that emotional independence means being capable of enjoying life alone, not needing constant reassurance, taking responsibility for your emotions, maintaining self-respect in relationships. This independence does not mean rejecting love or friendship. Instead, it means relationships become additions to an already fulfilling life. Using solitude for growth. The second half of the book focuses on personal development. Once loneliness has been transformed into solitude, the author encourages readers to use that time productively. Open Library +1.